Hey everyone, and welcome to RUBIN'S Mind Lab, where we break down the latest research into what it really means. Ever wonder how activists, people fighting for big social changes, can keep going without burning out? This study dives deep into that exact question. So imagine this, you are someone really passionate about making the world a fairer place. You see injustice, and it fuels you to act, to protest, to organize. But what happens when that can feel like a never-ending battle? That is where activist burnout comes in. And it is a serious problem that can stop even the most dedicated people in their tracks, and by extension, slow down social movements themselves. These are the folks on the front lines pushing for important changes. But this work is tough. It is emotionally draining, and sometimes it feels like you are banging your head against a wall. The researchers here, two psychologists with a background in Dialectical Behavior Therapy, or DBT, wanted to see if DBT skills could offer a lifeline to these hardworking activists. Now, what is this biosocial theory they're talking about? Think of it like this. Some people are naturally more sensitive to their emotions. When they react to something, especially injustice, and the people around them or even society at large kind of dismiss or invalidate those feelings, it can be tough over time. This repeated experience of strong emotions meeting with invalidation can lead to feeling completely worn out or even resorting to less healthy ways of coping. The researchers aren't saying activists have a mental illness, far from it. They're saying that the very nature of activism, the passion and sensitivity required, combined with the tough environments activists often work in, can create a perfect storm for burnout. Let's paint a picture. Imagine an activist fighting for immigrant rights. They see families being separated, and it sparks intense anger and sadness. These feelings drive them to work harder, helping with paperwork and going to protests. But they face constant roadblocks, complicated laws, slow processes, and even people calling them too radical. When their urgent pleas for help are met with play the long game from within their own communities, it can feel like their immediate distress is being ignored. This constant push and pull, the emotional investment, and the repeated barriers can lead to exhaustion. They might even double down, taking on more and more, believing that sheer effort will overcome the obstacles. But eventually this can lead to burnout, where they feel so drained they have to step back. This isn't just bad for the individual, it is bad for the movement too, because sustained effort is what drives social change. So, how can DBT help? Well, the good news is, many activists are already using mindfulness practices like yoga and meditation to cope. This study suggests that DBT skills can build on that foundation and offer even more targeted tools. DBT is all about helping people manage their emotions, cope with distress, and improve their relationships. These are skills that activists desperately need in their challenging work. The researchers identified common challenges activists face and matched them with specific DBT skills. For example, when activists are dealing with backlash and hostility from opponents, skills like clarifying goals and the Dear Man technique can help them assert their needs respectfully and effectively. For that chronic feeling of being invalidated, skills like self-validation are crucial, learning to acknowledge your own feelings and efforts, even when others don't. And for the ever-present risk of overwork and neglecting self-care, radical acceptance can be a game changer. Helping activists accept that rest and recovery are not weaknesses, but necessities for long-term effectiveness. To see if this actually works, the researchers didn't just theorize, they put it into practice. They ran workshops for real activists, helping them apply these DBT skills to their daily work. They conducted 5 workshops with over 60 activists, teaching them a range of DBT skills. The sessions were designed to be interactive, with leaders teaching skills and code. Leaders supporting participants, much like a typical DBT skills group, but with a focus on the unique stressors of activism. And the results were really promising. Even though these weren't therapy sessions, participants shared stories that echoed the researchers' ideas about burnout. They talked about frustrating bureaucracy, distress from clients' experiences, and pressure to work too hard. The feedback was overwhelmingly positive. With a super high satisfaction score, activists felt the skills were practical and relevant, and they reported that they were very likely to use the skills they learned in the coming month. 2 skills in particular, accumulating positive emotions and clarifying goals, really resonated with them. This is just the beginning. The researchers want to keep refining their coaching program for activists. They also acknowledge a limitation in many treatments. They often focus on individual solutions for what are sometimes collective problems. They're now thinking about how to adapt DBT's problem-solving skill to include solidarity and collective action, acknowledging that the fight for social change is a group effort. They also encourage others to use their work, build on it, or invent their own approaches. So, what does this all mean? This study offers a really insightful way to understand why activists get burned out, framing it through the lens of emotional sensitivity meeting tough environments. More importantly, it shows a practical, skill-based approach using DBT to help activists not only survive but thrive. By giving activists concrete tools to manage distress, regulate emotions, and maintain their well-being, we can help them stay engaged in the vital work of social change for the long haul. It is a reminder that taking care of the people who are fighting for us is just as crucial as the fight itself. This research is exciting because it bridges the gap between clinical psychology and social justice work. It highlights that the passion-driving activists, while incredibly important, can also make them vulnerable. By applying these evidence-based skills, we can empower them to sustain their energy and impact. My only thought is that while individual skills are powerful, fostering more supportive community structures within activist groups themselves could also amplify these benefits, creating a culture where self-care and sustainable engagement are genuinely valued and practiced. Future research could definitely explore how to best integrate these individual DBT skills within a collective activist setting. What do you think about this? Have you ever seen burnout impact someone you know, or perhaps experienced it yourself? Let me know in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to RUBIN'S Mind Lab for more science breakdowns, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.